Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again with another disturbing Jay Slater video. I hope every single one of you are doing well. In the last video, we spoke about potential missing time. Now, big up all the content creators that spoke about the 24 hours of missing time about 2 months ago. We looked into it, wasn't too sure about it, but now it seems to be the case. Missing time. Lucy confirms that the phone call she had with Jay only lasted 2 minutes. We're going to listen to that in this video. Brad also gives us more insight into what actually happened between him and Jay and why Jay ended up at the Airbnb. We're going to look at that in this video. And also, again, we're going to take ourselves back to that waffle session of a podcast between Ayub and Cullen, because, again, we missed something in that podcast. Missing time. Let's check this out. We're going to start with this video that we can see on the screen. DTR, human footsteps found in the mountains where Jay Slater was last seen.
Guys, while I'm in here, I'm just going to show you an example of the train Jay has possibly come through. There's definitely footsteps down here, 100%. There's no question about that. They're walking footsteps. They're not really sliding footsteps. So I'm trying to identify sliding footprints.
So those walking footsteps could prove there were other people with Jay at the time when he was there.
Because I know Jay was sliding. But this is potentially what Jay could have slid down into, all this sort of...
Well, it could be other people's footsteps, of course.
...sort of material. So now you can understand why dogs can't come into this area, why drones are going to be no use, and why, unless people are actually going to get in here, guys, it's not going to be much use either. So that's why I'm now scouring this area. I'm getting into all of this. I'm going to find someone who's got some tweezers later, because I'm about to get covered in 1,000 pricks. But it is what it is, guys. I just want to show you. Very, very rocky. So these are the bits he could have come down to. Then he could have perhaps come to an area like this and thought, oh no, how am I going to get through this? And just try to head through it, guys. So right now, this is our best bet.
By the looks of that, the only way someone's going to want to walk through that in shorts and a t-shirt is out of fear. It kind of leads us to believe what Mark Williams Thomas said. Jay left the Airbnb in fear. He feared for his life. Kind of makes sense. Why would a person want to go through all of this in shorts and a t-shirt? Thinking it was a shortcut.
This is our best bet, but just to show you guys, right, I'm going to crack on with the search and I'll catch up with you all later. So much love. Keep being awesome, guys. Keep being positive. Keep our fingers crossed. Let's find Jay. Let's bring Jay back home. Big love.
Let's find Jay. Let's bring Jay back home. See, at this point, I'm starting to think that they already knew Jay was dead. And it was just about finding the body. Because what's really interesting is this. You guys can see on the screen is in fact a comment that was left on Duncan Smith's community tab post. It says here, never forget this. The family did not do a press conference, which to a degree is true. Warren and Debbie never done a joint interview, let alone a press conference. It was 29 days, and you would expect within that space of time that they would have kind of stood in front of the media together. But it also says they didn't appeal for anything. No CCTV, no mobile phone footage, no dash cam footage. Why is this? It's a very, very good comment. Bearing in mind that Jay wasn't found for 29 days. Halfway through that process, the Guardia Civil called off the search, claiming that outside interference was more or less of a distraction for their investigation. Now, that made no sense. There was no real actions being made to look into the mobile phone pings, to look into CCTV, to look into anything that could track down Jay. They were just using drones, they were using helicopters, they were just looking for a body that was in the ravine. That's the kind of approach they took with this. So at that point, you can only assume they believed him to be dead. Even in that 29 days, did they really interrogate the last people to be seen with Jay? I don't think any of these guys gave a real statement. What Lucy done with the media and what we heard is what Lucy done with the media and what we heard. I don't think she really sat down with the police and said anything different to what she told us in the media. The same with Brad. We're going to listen to Brad and Lucy in a minute because there's things that they say that make sense of the missing time. Also going to confirm in this that Rocky doesn't even give a statement. Even though he claimed he did, Ayub slips up. We're going to prove that as well. Big up World Entertainment. I think there's some sort of AI channel. There's a few points that they made in their video that made me realize Ayub slips up again. And it proves what I said in my previous video. Rocky wasn't even there. They used Rocky sleeping at the Airbnb as a way to make it look like Rocky was there. But I don't think Rocky stepped foot in that Airbnb. As I mentioned in one of my last videos, the moment Rocky walks into the Airbnb and goes into the room and goes to sleep, Rocky's never mentioned again. In fact, Ayub does say that the next day, his boy was actually talking to the guys back in the UK, letting them know how his holiday's going. And one of the subscribers, I can't remember who it was, made a good point. He said, how do we not know it's Brandon that was at the Airbnb and was on the phone to the guys back in the UK? Because remember, on the 19th of June, Davis Hargreaves put out that message to say rest in peace Jay Slater? How would he have known Jay Slater was dead on the 19th of June? Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, the 19th of June. We got told that he went back and edited the picture from the 19th of June. What did he edit? Because I don't believe he edited rest in peace Jay Slater. Some of the slews believe he edited the X's and changed them to hearts, or edited the hearts and changed them to X's, whichever way round it goes. But ultimately, he put that message out on the 19th of June. And if we go by what Abe said, and he said his friend was downstairs on the phone to the guys back in the UK around 12 before Lucy got there, that could have been Brandon letting friends know back in Lancashire that something serious has happened to Jay. And on that basis, Davis Hargreaves said rest in peace, because what he took from what he was told is Jay was dead. And if we just think about what we've already said in this video, plus previous videos, it's starting to look like Jay was already dead and they knew Jay was dead. Then you've got to think, why the cover up? Is it because the people that are covering this up know that one of these people involved killed Jay, or indirectly killed Jay? Now let's switch to this, where Brad confirms Jay went up to the Airbnb with people he knew. This would have been a part of the interview that Brad would have done with Isla, but it wasn't shown to members of the public. This is actually going to give us a bit more clarity on the missing time. Let's check this out.
We've split up, but he's been with people we already knew.
We've split up and he's been with people he already knew. So this is Brad's way 2 weeks later confirming that they knew Abe and that. But he says they split up. They split up. Where did you go and how did you split up? Allegedly, Jay lost the key, and then Abe come back to clean it up by saying his friend, referring to Brad, took Jay's key for the apartment. So how is Brad now making these claims? Let's hear that again.
We've split up, but he's been with people.
We've split up, but he's been with people we knew. How did you split up? And did you take the key from him? Or did he lose the key? This is a part of the story that's extremely blurry, where Jay goes to the Airbnb and when Jay leaves the Airbnb. They're the two parts that just never made sense to me, and I don't think anyone has made sense of those parts. We're still waiting for Mark Williams Thomas to come out and tell us why Jay left the Airbnb in the manner that he did. But Brad's given us something here. Let's listen to this again.
People we already knew. He's ended up back with them on his own. I don't know how, what's going on there, like, but...
So did you hear that? He said he's ended up back there, and I don't know how that's happened. Let's take that back again.
Split up, but he's been with people we already knew. He's ended up back with them on his own. I don't know how, what's going on there, like, but...
So Brad seems confused. He's basically playing confused at this point. I don't know why Jay is with those guys. Why is Jay with them? What's happened there? That's what he's basically saying.
And he's gone off, done what he done.
He's gone off and done what he done. He went off and done what he done. So are you telling us that you know why he was there? Did he tell you why he was there? Is he there because of the watch? Is he there to do something else? Like, Brad, you've got to tell us a bit more here, because you can't tell us he's done what he's done and not elaborate on that. Even the journalist, you should have been telling him to elaborate on that. He's done what he's done. What's he done? It doesn't make any sense at that point, but Brad is acting confused. Brad is basically saying he's gone off with these guys to the Airbnb, and I don't know why he's gone up there. It doesn't make any sense. He isn't corroborating their story, though. He isn't basically saying, oh, yeah, I took his key and I went to the apartment because I was tired. He isn't saying that Jay lost the key. He's just basically saying they split up. How did you guys split up? How? It doesn't make any sense. Because between the hours of 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the morning, where Jay was waved out of his face and he was standing with Brandon, Lucy was coming down the stairs. Bradley was just behind them on his phone. And Abe and Rocky are in the corner. So the whole gang was together at 2 o'clock in the morning. How did they all split up? And why would you split up from a friend who's in that condition? How would you leave your best friend in that condition? Doesn't make any sense. There is no way you would split up. Unless you're telling me there was other people in Tenerife that Brad knew, and Brad decided to start rolling with those guys whilst he was there. And he left Jay. And Jay was just wandering around by himself. Brandon and Lucy were on their own mission, doing whatever they were doing. And Jay was just tagging along with them. They decided to just leave Jay because they're irresponsible and they're not really Jay's friends. And Jay ended up with Abe and Rocky. And if Jay ended up with Abe and Rocky, Jay must have been spaced. But then it doesn't make any sense how Rocky is in the car, sleeping, and Jay is outside of the car, allegedly with Abe, saying 2 bottles of Henny to the head. And taking ourselves back to the audio, it sounds like Jay was confident, comfortable, sober. You can tell he probably had a few drinks. He didn't seem as waved as he looked in the footage. Would that audio have been before we see Jay waved out of his face? It then brings into question the white t-shirt, because I know a lot of people are running with this white t-shirt thing now. And of course, it was mentioned to me that the white t-shirt would have been the last night. Now, we can't confirm that because we haven't got any footage of Jay other than the one with him and Brad. And there's conflicting information when it comes to that, because some people said, no, that's actually the first day they landed, and that's the first day they were walking up to the strip. I also eliminated the beach video, and people said, no, you can't eliminate the beach video because of the bag. Well, for me, the bag that Jay was wearing wasn't as small as the bag that the guy in the white t-shirt in the beach video was wearing. It wasn't as small as that one. Also want to mention is that person in the white t-shirt on the beach video is wearing white trainers. That video with Brad walking towards the strip, you can see the heel of Jay's trainer, and it's definitely a black one. So again, that will eliminate that being Jay in the beach footage where all of those guys are there having some sort of altercation. I'm not saying that altercation never took place, but what I'm saying is that person in the white t-shirt, in my opinion, isn't Jay.
He rang me like halfway up going to their house. I'm staying here, I'll be back the next day.
There we go, look, missing time. So he phones him going up to the mountain, and he tells him, I'm staying here, I'm gonna be back the next day. I'm going to be back the next day. If you are there at 6 o'clock in the morning talking to your friend, or even 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, you're not really going to be referring to the next day. You're going to be telling man, I'll see you later on. So Brad is clearly confirming that there is missing time.
So I just thought I was going to be on the next day then.
So I just thought he's going to be on the next day then. Like, did Brad actually speak to him via the phone, or was it a text message?
As you know, when he's been walking home, he's rang me walking down the mountain up there, and he just goes, I'm walking home, like.
He's rang me from the mountain up there, and he says, I'm walking home, like. So you knew it was the mountain up there. How did you know it was the mountain up there? I mean, could you tell that it was the mountain up there through Snapchat or through FaceTime, even though you've never been there before? And you sitting here with Isla doing your interview would have been the first time that you would have been up there. Unless Brad is telling us he was on the phone to him for several minutes where he had detailed information, which means it would have been irresponsible for you to not act on that information. I know these guys are only 19, but come on, we've got a brain. Even Debbie said, if you had his screenshot, if you had his location, why didn't you just go to the spot? That's making me think that you guys already knew Jay was dead. Recently, we were told that Debbie landed at 7 o'clock in the morning that Jay went missing. You have to take that with a small pinch of salt. Based on what Debbie has said, based on her own reaction, I don't believe she would have got on a plane 7 o'clock that morning. Maybe 7 o'clock that evening. I just don't understand how that would make sense. And then Jay was putting pictures on his Snapchat at 7:30 in the morning. You're telling me they were fabricating it as Debbie was at the airport. As far as I've seen, Debbie confirmed that she was at the airport with Zach. I believe it was the 18th of June. That doesn't mean there isn't missing time, because whatever happened to Jay could have happened on the 16th. It could have happened on the Saturday night. Sunday is the day they used to figure out their story. And then they could have told Lucy on the Monday morning, which would have been the 17th. Remember, what Brad is saying right here is Jay told him he's coming back the next day. But still, it's just not making sense at this moment in time. There are pieces that we're missing, and maybe Ayub can help us piece it together.
He didn't seem concerned on the phone until we knew how far away we were.
He says, until we knew how far away he were. When he says we, who is he referring to? Jay got concerned when we realized how far away he were. Is he talking about him and Jay? Is he talking about him and Lucy? Is he talking about him and some people that were tracking Jay down? Like, who is he referring to at that point? Because it wouldn't have made sense for Jay to go off road at this point when he realized how far away he were, after sending a screenshot, not forwarding the location to these guys. He sent a screenshot. And that's the reason why I think all of this, what's being said, is BS. That the phone calls could have been made to make it look like those phone calls were made. But in terms of what you're telling us about what was said on the phone and what actually happened on the phone, is all BS. The reason I say that is because a person in need, a person that was in a position that Jay found himself in allegedly, wouldn't send screenshots of his location. He wouldn't go into Snapchat and send a screenshot of the Snapchat location and send that over to you. He wouldn't go into his iPhone maps and send a screenshot of that and then send that over to you. Why? Because he's on 1% battery. And for two, it just doesn't make any sense for anyone to do that, because how the hell do you find me based on a screenshot? Unless you're using that screenshot because you know the body is in that location, and I want to give you that screenshot so you can search that location to find the body, because I know the body's there. It's definitely there. Just go there and have a look. If that is the case, it means that either Brad or Lucy or Brandon was there at the location. Like DTR says, there were other footprints there. There were other footprints there, but he was looking for sliding footprints. They could have been at the location with Jay's phone, doing all of the things that they needed to do to make it look like Jay was consciously there and he sent over the screenshots.
Jay's other friend Lucy believes she was the last to speak to him.
Listen to
It was
this.
only like a 2-minute phone call because obviously his battery was low, so I got minimal information. I didn't know, like,
Straight away, distance herself again. She is clarifying that I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I don't have that much information to tell you. I was only on the phone to him for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, which means if he battery died at 8:50, you got through to him at 8:48. So again, we've got more missing time, because if Brad spoke to him at 8:30 or just after 8:30, how long did that call last? It sounds like there was enough time to understand the situation, take control of the situation, give Jay instructions not to do anything stupid so you can get there and rescue him. Remember, Brad also said in the same interview, after Jay gave him the location, he advised Jay to jump in a cab. So again, why wasn't that option exercised? Why didn't Brad exercise the option? And what doesn't add up is that when Lucy speaks to him, she adds that he's got a cut on his leg. Now, surely that only happened whilst Brad was on the phone to him or after Brad was on the phone to him. And if he had been speaking to Brad and Brad is his best friend, why would you not call Brad back to say, Brad, oh, bro, I've been cut by a cactus, man. I think I'm in a dangerous position. You have to come and get me, like, come and get me fast. Instead, he calls Lucy this time. So that's what doesn't make any sense to me. How can you be on the phone to Brad? Brad's got all this information about where you are, but he doesn't call Brad back when he's in danger. He calls Lucy. He would rather call Lucy. That makes no sense. It makes me think that if Brad's telling the truth and he put his location on and he decided to walk off-road at that point, it's because Brad was with the people that were looking for Jay and that were coming for Jay, and Jay realized that and he decided to cut off-road. Or he decided to cut off-road the moment Brad called him because he knew Brad was snaking him from the beginning. Finds himself in danger, and instead of calling back his best friend, he calls Lucy. And as she confirms, that call only lasted 2 minutes. So he must have been on the call to Brad for quite some time. Or if he wasn't on the call to Brad for quite some time, they must have caught up to him by that time, done something to him, and then the only person Jay felt like he could trust to come and help him at that point would have been Lucy.
I got a pinpoint location of where he was, but it was actually a screenshot of the location, so it wasn't a live location.
So how do we know at this point that Lucy wasn't being manipulated? How do we know at this point that Lucy wasn't with them? They done whatever they done, had Jay's phone and was sending the screenshots to Lucy. And they was trying to paint a narrative to Lucy, and Lucy was trying to make sense of it, as well as trying to make sense of the last phone call she had with Jay. First thing she does is show a mad amount of urgency to have Jay found. She wants the UK police involved. She calls Ayub and them lot strangers. She also said she wanted the UK police to interrogate the 2 UK strangers. Now remember, Ayub claimed in his podcast that they had a little tiff. I don't even know this girl allegedly. So how can you and this girl that you don't know have a tiff? And what was that tiff about? Like, Ayub claims that she said something that was out of line. What could that have been? Maybe that you were strangers? Maybe that the UK police should get involved and interrogate the both of you? Maybe Lucy was saying that because what she had been told from Jay and what she had been told from these guys didn't make any sense, and she thought, nah, something dodgy has happened here.
So as he moved, the location didn't move. It was just a pinpoint location, which he was now there such a long time ago. So we have...
Oh, wow, I didn't even hear that before.
Got a pinpoint location of where he was, but it was actually a screenshot of the location, so it wasn't a live location. So as he moved, the location didn't move. It was just a pinpoint location, which he was now there such a long time ago. So we've literally no idea now where he could be.
Okay, I hear what she's trying to say. Because we had a screenshot, the pinpoint location didn't move. Pinpoint location didn't move at all, even without the screenshot, because he was found within the pinpoint location.
I feel like, yo, someone that was here with me 10 minutes ago, like, and no one's heard from him for like...
Wow, someone that was with me 10 minutes ago and no one's heard from him for...
It's like coming up to 18 hours, like...
Coming up to 18 hours. It was proving that there was missing time. 18 hours. What day is this, Ayub? The 17th? The 18th?
The whole nearly 24 hours was nearly getting done, you know what I'm saying? And I remember and then going up the mountain, we saw some Guardia Civil officers.
So going up to the mountains, you see some Guardia Civil officers. There we go. Missing time, ladies and gentlemen. He told us the day Jay went missing, him and Lucy, Rocky, and their mate went looking for Jay in the night. In the night. Remember that, in the night. So that could have only been the night before or the day Jay went missing, which would have been the 17th according to their story. They went looking for Jay in the night. They stopped the mountain rescue team that night, allegedly. And this is what he's talking about now. But just remember what he said before this. At this point, Jay had been missing for 18 to 24 hours. So he's indicated that there is missing time. Remember, we got told by Ophelia's daughter that Ayub and the man that Ayub came with booked the Airbnb on the Saturday evening. Arrived at the Airbnb on the Saturday. That would have been the 15th. That's when he arrived at the Airbnb, if what she says is true. And that's Ophelia's daughter. I'm pretty sure when Ayub thanks the cleaner and he calls her Alva, he misheard that and it was Alba. Whoever works at Ophelia's calf goes by the name of Alba. I know that because the people that was doing my research for me in Masca, they went to the calf, had food at the calf, spoke to the woman behind the till. Another problem for Ayub is alongside Alva, he mentioned Roman. In fact, he mentioned Roman before he mentions Alva in that review. But it's funny, in this podcast, he never mentioned Roman once. In fact, when he referred to Roman, he referred to him as the boss of the place. And he gave money to the cleaner, and the cleaner gave him the extension till the Tuesday. But right now, there looks like there is missing time. We don't even really know if he was even at the Airbnb. Yeah, we've got that footage, and Warren has confirmed to me that it's Jay in the audio. We can't confirm if that's really them at the Airbnb. It could be audio just put with footage to make it look like it's all in the same place.
From like Lucy started showing from the ping location, what was on her phone asked the girl, he said maybe in that, and they were like, oh.
So this is the point where he's saying they approached the mountain rescue team that they randomly see at night and was showing them the screenshots that Jay had sent them. They were trying to get the mountain rescue team to help them at that point, but it doesn't sound like they got the help.
This, and they kept like, because we actually flagged them off the road, you know what I mean? And fully like said to him, look, it's a really serious situation, man.
And it's so weird that he says it's a real serious situation at this point, because initially when Brandon called and told him that Jay was missing, Abe's response was, oh, I told him I would give him an effing lift. Oh, this is all on you, man. This is you, man's fault. I'm going back to bed. Later on that day, it becomes serious for Abe. Later on that day, later on in the night.
He helped us out, you know what I'm saying? So and then from then, they done we left them to them, their job and whatever. And then the next day, the cleaners come now, and then people are like, oh, why have I got a relationship?
The next day, the cleaners come now. Okay, so he said the next day. If it's the next day has to be Tuesday. If it's Tuesday, we're talking about Tuesday the 18th now, right? However, if it's the next day, that should have been the day that you leave the Airbnb, because that would have been the day the cleaner allegedly extended it to. So the Tuesday was the extension day. But he just confirmed it's the next day. The cleaner come the next day after having the conversation with the mountain rescue with Lucy and the screenshots and the blah, blah, blah. Again, proving that there's missing time, ladies and gentlemen. And he's slipping up with his story because he's forgetting the dates.
With the cleaner, why have I got a relationship with the cleaner? I got extra, then my Airbnb ran out that date. But through the cleaner, I managed to give her the cash and get an extra day because she rang the boss of who owns the thingy. And
who owns the thingy?
That, to me.
Remember, he said the boss. The boss he is referring to is Roman, because remember, Roman is the agent of the Airbnb. So when he hired this Airbnb, he wouldn't have been dealing with Ophelia. She's the landlord, allegedly. He would have been dealing with Roman. He's the boss. But he doesn't want to mention Roman's name, even though in the review, he mentioned Roman's name along with Alva, which I believe is meant to be Alba.
Gratitude-wise, like whether you do big for me or small, I will thank you. That's just courtesy. You know what I'm saying? She was the one that told me, look, like the next day that actually did leave, or the police have been around.
So listen to this again. He said, the next day when I actually did leave, the cleaner said to him, the police have been around.
And they want to chat to you regarding.
So based on the official narrative that we have, this should be the Tuesday. Based on what Ayub has explained, it sounds like this is the Wednesday. But I'm still going to stick with the Tuesday because there is missing time. And I think Ayub has slipped up with his story forgetting that whatever happened to Jay was the day before the time he's given us. But from his own mouth, at that point, he said it had been like 18 to 24 hours that he had been missing before they approached the mountain rescue team with the screenshots.
He's missing and that. And I was like, all right, sweet. Get me their address. You know what I'm saying? So they got me their address in the main office in SLATER America. This was now the 18th. Remember, it's the next day now. So
he's now trying to confirm it's the 18th, but based on what he said, it sounds like this is the 19th. Let's just stick with the 18th. Let's act like he hasn't indicated missing time. He hasn't slipped up in this podcast. Let's just act like this is the 18th.
It's my birthday on the 19th. You know what I'm saying? So it's the 18th. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm sitting at the police station. It was a bit mad because I'm like, said to them, yo, I'm here like for the missing persons case.
So he was there for the missing persons case, but where was Rocky? Wasn't Rocky there? Because World Entertainment and News have the receipt to confirm that Rocky said he went to the police station as well and made a statement, which is clearly a lie because Ayub was about to tell us that he was texting Rocky and the person that he met Jay through, who was still on the strip. They were on the strip. I'm telling you now, everything that we're hearing from Ayub's mouth about this process that he went through at the police station is absolute BS. I don't think this happened whatsoever.
What are you on about? I was like, oh, for the kid Jay that went missing this morning.
And I'm going to prove that he's chatting BS as well. Keep listening.
You know, and she was like, yeah, it's already been reported. It's cool. You can go.
This bit doesn't make any sense because this makes it look like the police are not doing their job correctly. But listen, keep listening.
I was like, no. I've been called in as a witness. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, no, it's been reported. I'm like, no.
He's chatting waffle. I just do not believe this happened.
I argue, I am here to give a witness statement.
Man's forced, isn't it? Like,
do you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to proper fight to give a witness statement. So it was in there, waited till like 12 for the translator.
12 for the translator. That's 12 a.m. now, going into his birthday, which is now the 19th of June. But keep listening.
The translator landed, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, you know what I'm saying? They weren't happy about, like, one thing I could feel from them, they weren't happy about people saying, oh, Spanish police this, Spanish police that, you know what I'm saying? And I could tell that just from like the way they were speaking and that, but
chatting gas, lying again. You know how he's lying? He's claiming he went in there on the 18th of June. Who was calling out the Guardia Civil on the 18th of June? Not even Lucy. Lucy done her interviews with the media on the 20th of June. So who was calling out the Guardia Civil? How can the Guardia Civil make you feel like, how can the police or whoever it was make you feel like things that people are doing online, which wasn't even happening at that point, they wasn't happy with? Them being thrown under the bus, them being called out by people online, them being called out by people that was involved in the rescue mission of getting Jay, the people that was working on behalf of the Guardia Civil, they were calling them out. But they're telling you on the 18th of June that they're not happy with the way people have been talking about them. That's how you know full-blown well that Ayub never went to any police station. He is chatting waffle. Another reason why we know he's chatting waffle is because where was Rocky at the police station with you? He was at the Airbnb with you, right? Like I told you guys, the moment Rocky walks into that Airbnb and goes to sleep, never mentioned again. Even when he goes to the police station, Rocky is not even there. He's about to tell us that Rocky and the person that he met Jay through is on the strip. And if this is 12 in the morning, going into 1 in the morning, then what time did he link up with them? That must have been his birthday then, right? Because that would have been the 19th if that was his birthday, right? Okay. So when did he fly out? Because he claimed he didn't want to be in Tenerife for his birthday. But he was in Tenerife for his birthday, but flew out instantly, right? Must have got a maybe 4 a.m. flight back to the UK. The police were telling you it's fine, we've got everything we need. And you were forcing it on them, no, I'm here to make a witness statement. I need to give you a witness statement now. I ain't leaving until I give you a witness statement because I'm Ayub. I need to help find missing Jay. And I'm going to give them all of the details that they need. I'm going to give them more details in that interview than I'm going to give on this podcast. I'm going to tell you that everything that they need to help find missing Jay. And tell me, What did Ayub help them find? Ladies and gentlemen, it's looking like there is some real truth to this missing time, and we need to get there. We need to fully understand at what point did Jay go to that Airbnb, if he ever did go to that Airbnb. And we also need Mark Williams Thomas to come out and clean up this mess. Tell us why Jay left the Airbnb. We need to know. You tell us that you have the answers. You know why Jay left the Airbnb in the manner that he did. In this video, again, clearly proving that there is missing time. It also kind of indicates that these guys already knew Jay was dead. But once again, we prove that Ayub is a big fat liar. I need you guys to leave your comments down below. I need to know exactly what you are thinking right about now. Make sure you hit that like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new. Turn your notification bells on. I hope you guys enjoy your Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.